Welcome to Behind the Profile. My guest today is Annabelle, my dear friend Annabelle, that I've been working with for quite a few years by now. So thank you for joining me today, Annabelle.
Thank you for inviting me, Oliver.
Anytime. And yeah, if you like, just to kick this off, if you could just briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Annabelle Lincoln. I'm a Tableau ambassador and Tableau visionary. I'm living in Switzerland. My passion are data, visualization, and a little bit of Tableau.
Yeah, certainly a bit of Tableau. You mentioned your passion. So what I like about your LinkedIn profile is, I like a lot about your LinkedIn profile. One thing that stands out when you look at it the first time is it says data visualization and enablement are my ikigai.
Yes.
Got it right?
Yeah, exactly. That is a Japanese concept. It means that sense of purpose. You have iki, that means living, and gai, that means value of words. And so it's when you find your way of living, your sense of purpose in life. And why I said that is because I always have been in love with math and art. So when I discovered Tableau, I could do like very funny thing using trigonometry and maths and have a little fun about it. And also use it at work. So that's why I said that. Then there is other Japanese concept that I really like. You have the wabi-sabi, for instance. That is the acceptance of imperfection.
Okay.
And you have the kaizen, that is like continuous improvement.
Okay.
And I am a person that really love these three concepts because I'm always learning. I love to learn more and go deep. So I cannot stay without doing anything.
Yeah, it's interesting. The other two, that's a nice combination, right? Because accepting not to be perfect takes a lot of pressure from you, but still you have the ambition to improve all the time. It's quite powerful if you combine both.
It's a philosophy. I mean, you have other living concepts from Japan that are very interesting, but that's all the three that I really fond of.
Yeah. And you just mentioned that you're traveling to Japan soon again, right? It's at least your second.
Yeah. I will be back. It's so fantastic. The people there, the food, and the craft. All the craft that they are doing, they have this traditional living treasure where they are artisans that continuously improve their art. So that's why the kaizens here is very important. And to see them in action is fantastic.
Okay. Nice.
By the way, the best croissant that I ever eaten was in Japan. Imagine.
Really?
Yes.
And that's just the French lady.
Yes, exactly. The French lady told you that the best croissant was in Japan. When they do something, they do it well. That's what I have encountered there. And I don't encounter this kind of philosophy sometime here in Europe. So.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right, so that's Japan. I'm looking forward to some pictures. I always want to go to Japan, so it's on the bucket list. But I guess it has to wait for a little bit more time on my side.
You should take the flight already for 2025.
And then there's no way back.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And you need to organize.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me sleep 1 or 2 nights over that idea. But let's go back to your business side of things.
Yeah, of course.
So you mentioned your high affinity when it comes to numbers and to art, and I know you for quite a while now, and our paths have crossed at Bank Vontobel. But actually, you spent a long time already in the banking space and in the analytics space. So you worked for Banque de France, you worked for Swiss, or paths have crossed at the Bank Vontobel in Zurich. So the obvious question that I usually ask my guests is, how did you come across the idea of working in that space in the beginning, and what was the journey for you? by now?
I just my first job was with the banking sector, in the banking sector, so I always continue there, I would say. But the financial sector are usually are very big establishments, so you come across different type of data. So you'll never get bored. It's not only financial data, but you also have a marketing department, an HR department. So it's always very, very interesting to work in a big company, let's say. But I have no more special affinity that I was being 20 years in the financial sector working.
Yeah. So you feel often to change the vertical, right? It's more about the data and the experience.
Exactly.
Okay.
And when I was working, for instance, on the French central bank, it was completely different because I was more on the public sector. So it's an institution that controls the bank. So we deal with different kind of data. And I had the occasion to work with over-indebtedness data and microfinance there. So it was very enlightening.
Okay. All right.
But I would love to work for the perfume industry, the beauty industry, you know. I have absolutely no problem.
Yeah, so many cool companies in Switzerland. I'm sure you'll find something exciting. And you were talking about Tableau. You mentioned it in the beginning, and we still have a lot of touch points when it comes to this. You are what I would call a Tableau unicorn. So you are a very active and very well-known member of the Tableau community. You're a so-called Tableau visionary for quite a while now. You run several Tableau user groups. Can you explain your passion, especially for that tool? I think you mentioned numbers and art. I guess that's where Tableau comes into play. But if you can just explain why you love it so much.
So when I moved to Switzerland, I couldn't find a job. Mm-hmm. And the first job I encountered was a data analyst job, where they were requesting someone that knows or wants to learn Tableau. I didn't know what Tableau was at that time. It was almost 9-10 years ago. And so I say, yeah, sure, I can learn. I learned SAS in the past. When you have learned SAS, you can learn probably anything.
Like New York.
And, exactly. And so I download Tableau. They give me a data set. And when I could see what I could do in a matter of minutes, I fall in love, completely fall in love with the product. I remember in the French Central Bank, we had to do some reports with maps. We had to draw the map by hand and color each sector by hand with the computer, but and with Tableau, I remember having called my colleague. I said, look, I was with my phone, look what I can do now. So she was doing this report for 1 or 2 weeks. I could do it in 5 minutes. That was for me a game changer. So I got the job. I learned a lot through the community, watching video, reading blogs, going to Tableau forum. And as soon as I could give back, I did. So I start answering on the forum, what I knew a little bit more. I start having my blog. I start publishing on Tableau Public. And then I went to a different level, running this analytic Tableau user group. That it's, I think, the biggest user group. The newbie group just behind us. They want to catch up. And it was a success. We help a lot of people grow, and it's very rewarding, I would say. I run also the Data Plus Women event. And now I also run a new webinar series with Interworks and Garrett about enablement.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. You also you started doing a podcast episode in the Interworks podcast series, and then obviously you guys got along quite well. So you came up with the concept of the new podcast format, and I'm really happy to see that materializing now and picking up.